All right, welcome. We're back. We're live. This is Mr. Aaron from the House of Aaron. I'm one of your middle class millionaires here presenting to you today, part two. We went over it already. We're talking about types of interactions that you need to have with other people in order to, build relationships and stuff, right? So you have the three types of interactions. What would you say those types of interactions you should be having with folks? If you're talking about networking with people, when you're networking with people, whether it be through social media, email, or face to face, when you're networking with people, you have three types of interactions. Three types of interactions is you want to either have content, you want to interact with content, you're going to interact by promoting, or you're going to interact by relationship. So that's the three. That was the A, B, and C. Interacting with content. Interacting with content is what we're focusing on tonight about the three types of ways to interact with content. And then we're going to go into what, of course, Wednesday, which is tomorrow. I'll be running late again tomorrow. I have another baseball game, but it is. Make sure it's on all cameras. Tomorrow, we're back in it. We're back in Eric Ward Gold Pro 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. That's our study hall. We'll be studying, we'll be in the study hall. We'll be in this tomorrow. Eric Ward GoPro 7 Steps to Becoming a Network Marketing Professional. It's not just for those who are network marketing. This is for people for everyday life. Networking. You got to network at your job. If you plan on getting promotion, you're going to have to learn how to do it like a professional, right? So we're still in chapter 5 because chapter 5 has so much information. Like it's one of the biggest chapters in the book. So when you're talking about chapter 5, that's what we're doing in our study hall tomorrow. We're going to be covering, what is it? Or is it the 8 steps? Or we're going to be covering, because we already did the 4 rules. So after the 4 rules, I think we do the 8 steps, right? So let me make sure. Now we talked to Eric Ward. He gave us permission. If you want the ebook, if you want the audio version of Eric Ward GoPro, tune in tomorrow. We'll provide you with the link. I believe we're going to give out one chapter at a time. We're trying to get Eric Ward on the program. So that's a plus, folks. Networking. I know he's busy, but guess what? I'm talking about it today, about one of the types of interactions. I interact with him in a way like a professional that he responds to me, right? So we're going to go tomorrow, the 8 steps, right? The 8 steps to professional invitations. 8 steps to professional invitations on tomorrow based off the Eric Ward GoPro 7 steps to becoming a network marketing professional. Study hall tomorrow, folks. So this is the ABC 123 live stream about having the proper business mindset. The proper business mindset. Yes, I told you I'm Aaron. I'm Mr. Aaron from the House of Aaron. Yes, I run the daycare, but I also dabble and dibble into other things, writing books and network marketing, affiliate marketing, online marketing, internet, email, all that good stuff. Learning those things because I want to be better at my profession. So whatever you're pursuing, be a professional. Be a professional. So what we're talking about today is how to interact like a professional. We said there's three types of interactions. That's the ABC. The A is content. That's what we're covering tonight. The B is by promoting, interaction by promotion. And number three, and letter C, interaction by relationship. For those who don't know, I do have a newborn son. He's about a month old, and I just heard him start to cry. So we're going to make this quick. This is going to be really fast because it really is my shift. I know my wife is probably like, where in the world is he at? I know I heard them. They're moving around. So don't worry, folks. We're going to get through these three. She She taking my shift right now, but it's all right. I'm gonna make up for it. I'll be up with him for the rest of the night. So, content, promotion, relationship. Content, promotion, relationship. Let's do the 1, 2, 3 for content. Content, interactions. 3 types. Now, I told you I teach daycare, but yes, education is something I formerly did. I had the formal education on education. Didn't just fall in daycare, but I was teaching special education. And when you teach in special education, you have these things called IEPs, individual educational programs or plans. Individual education plan, guess what, folks? You have to go by state curriculum. So you got goals and guidelines and benchmarks and all these things. When you have those things, they talk about 3 types of content. They ask you questions, or has statements inside what we call the standards. What happens? They talk about 3 types of text when you having the children reaching goals and benchmarks. It's the same thing for when you get older. That's why it's in there. That's why these standards are written this way. They talk about argumentative, informative, and narrative text. Those are your 3 types of text that people read. And guess what? Those are types of your interactions when you're talking about content interaction. Is it argumentative? Is it informative? Is it narrative? Right? So if you're looking up the state standards, I guess you could go like to, I don't know, whatever state you're in, you look up the standards, it's going to ask you about those type of texts. If you go, it'd be like, no, I don't have one of my old teacher's guides. It's going to say, let me see if I can find one. It's going to ask you what standards does it meet. I believe it's in this one right here. I'm trying to see if I can find the basic one, but it asks you about what state standards does it meet, what qualifying. It's probably my teacher's edition. This is the things that they look for when they come in and evaluate. When they come and evaluate the educational program, they're looking for the state standards and stuff like that. Like, what does it satisfy? I don't know where I put my teacher's guide at. Well, here you go. That's no good. Summertime hit. What happens? I don't have it with me, right? So go to the beginning. They normally have what standards they meet right in the beginning. So you got like most of these standards come from like phonological awareness, alphabet recognition, print awareness. This is for little children, but it still applies to the adults. So when they was talking about some of the standards, let's see, Unit 1, pages 425. When you get into the standards, 425, open sequence, they give you all those benchmarks and stuff that you're trying to make, right? So they look, I don't know if everybody can see it, but they look like that. They look like they give you all these little benchmarks and they give you like little blurbs of information. So it's like listen with increasing attention. Now that's for preschool. What you're trying to do, you're trying to have your interaction based off of stuff like that. So when you're trying to talk about your content interaction, your 3 types, argumentative, Can you create argumentative content? Can you create informative content? Can you create narrative content? And this is how you break it down, right? Argumentative content, when you're talking about your content interaction, you collect data, you generate some data, you evaluate evidence as well. So you collecting, you're generating, you're evaluating evidence. That might be another ABC right there, right? Collect, generate, evaluate evidence, and then you choose a position. You choose a position to present on. So that's what you're doing in that type, right? When you're talking about your content interaction with someone, if you're going to get into the debate, people got into the big debate about Kevin Durant going to Golden State Warriors. You better collect, generate, evaluate your evidence, and then you present on a position of how you feel of, was it a good move for him to go? Was it not a good move for him to go, right? That's all up to you based on what you collect, generate, and evaluate of the evidence, and then you choose a position. I mean, some people going to be on one side because they like he need to get a championship. Other people are like, hey, you went with the enemy. Like you could have went with anybody but them. So that's the one, right? That's number one. Your argumentative, when you talk, your argumentative type of content interaction. Now your informative interaction, your informative type, when you're talking about your content interaction, the formative one is you provide information on a certain topic. Now, this probably has all the facts or things that relate to what you're feeling, because you're not going to have any points for the other side. You're not going to collect, generate, or evaluate any evidence. What you're going to do, you're going to probably have a fact-filled argument and you're going to take a stance, unapologetic. You're not going to be looking. You're not going to be looking to sway nobody to another side. You're going to present exactly what it is. This is what it is. This is what it's going to be. This is how it is. It's like you're not going to present a whole bunch of pros and cons and then say, I'm on this side. You're going to say, this is it. This is it. Straight up informative. These are the facts. This is what it is. This is what it does, right? So when you're having that type of interaction, this is what you go into your content interaction, right? About that providing value. You're gonna come into interaction with someone, either argumentative, informative, or narrative, right? Most of the time when you interact with people, it's going to be a narrative. Now, the number one was argumentative, which you collect, generate, evaluate evidence, and then you chose your position at the end. You didn't tell people what it's going to be up front. You kind of presented some things, and then he was like, and this is where I go. This is where I fall into. When you get into the informative, you starting off with your position, and you're staying just in that vein. You're providing just the information on that certain topic. Like I can't give you a story about if I'm talking about cooking bacon, I can't give you a story about baking the cake. I'm talking about getting bacon, like real bacon, not baking the cake. So that's like two different sides or whatever. So you going straight informative about providing information on a certain topic, nothing else. It's unapologetic. That's your stance. That's your view. Like for me, uh, now I don't want to get into that because, like I said, I got to get upstairs to the feeding time for my son. So, the last but not least, third type of content interaction is narrative. This is where you're telling the stories. Most of the time, the stories are going to be personal to you or for someone else. So this way that others could gain insight. And that's what most of the great speakers, that's all they do is pretty much tell you a story. T.D. Jakes, he could tell you a story up and down. Eric Thomas, he could tell you that story. He give you those stories, and it pulls you in. They give you the stories of the guru. They give you the stories from uh, T.D. Jakes to give you stories of the Bible, but then he'll give you today illustrations, right? I mean, my pastor does the same thing. They give you things that you could grab onto right now. They give you stories of that nature that you could grab onto right there where you are. It hits you right where you are. You get insight. So eventually you're going to take some action. So when you're talking about your content, you're talking about content, you're talking about interacting with people with content, no matter what platform is on, these are the three you should be using. Augmentative. That means you're collecting data, you're collecting and generating and evaluating your evidence, and then you choose a position based on that. Number two, informative. You're providing info on a certain topic a certain way because that is your unapologetic stance or position on the view of a certain subject. And number three, you go narrative. I kind of gave you all three a little bit tonight, which is like I said, I gave you the story about my son, and I need to go feed him. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I thank you for joining us again on the ABC 123 Business Mindset Training with Mr. Aaron from the House of Iron, where in the middle class with Mr. Aaron from the House of Iron and the Middle Class Millionaires, where I urge you to be confident, be smart, be fruitful, and multiply. Then when you start, you don't stop. You have to be consistent until you achieve your goals. Good night, good morning. See you tomorrow for study hall. Have a good day. Thank you.